Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling something kind of interesting. IPOs, you want to know if Toss the Coin Limited is worth the investment. And you've sent over their draft and full red herring prospectus financials, the whole 9 yards. We've even got their office blueprints.
Oh, wow. Talk about detailed.
Yeah,
It's like getting a sneak peek behind the curtain before the big show.
right.
These documents are packed with information,
Yeah.
and we're going to break it all down for you.
Think of us as your IPO translators, helping you cut through all the jargon and figure out, if this is a company you should bet on. So first things first, what exactly is Toss the Coin?
They're a relatively young company, founded in 2020, based in Chennai, India. Their specialty is B2B marketing, specifically for the tech industry. They do it all: branding, content creation, sales support, even design work. Imagine a tech company needs to get the word out about their new gadget.
Right.
Toss the Coin is there to help them do it.
Makes sense. So they're going for this IPO. What are the nuts and bolts of how it's structured?
They're opting for a 100% book-built issue, which basically means the price of the shares is determined by investor demand. They're offering up to 504,000 shares each with a face value of €10. The goal is to get listed on the Bombay Stock Exchange, specifically on their SME platform, which is designed for small and medium-sized enterprises.
Why the SME platform, you think? Trying to keep things low-key?
It could be a strategic move. The SME platform is known for having a slightly more relaxed regulatory environment compared to the main board.
Okay.
It could make the listing process a bit easier for a newer company like Toss the Coin.
Interesting. So anyone can just jump in and buy shares?
Well, there are a few things to consider. The minimum number of shares you can bid for, known as the lot size, hasn't been announced yet. Plus, for the first 10 trading days, the shares will be traded in the trade for trade segment. This means you can only buy or sell the exact number of shares you hold, no partial trades allowed. It's a way to manage volatility in the early days of trading.
Sounds like they're trying to be cautious. Smart move, considering everyone wants to know how much are these shares going to cost?
That's the million rupee question, and we don't have an answer yet. The price band, the range within which the shares will be priced, is still being determined. It'll depend on a bunch of factors, including investor interest, market conditions, and the company's financial performance. Speaking of financials, let's dive into what their numbers tell us.
Yes, because everyone wants to know, is this company actually making money? Are they a good bet?
Let's take a look. Their revenue from operations has been on a steady climb. Back in fiscal year 2022, they brought in 297.33 lakhs. Then in FY 2023, they saw a jump to 478.35 lakhs. And just this past fiscal year, FY 2024, their revenue reached 486.19 lakhs.
So good growth, but revenue is just one side of the coin. What about their actual profits?
Their profit after tax, or PAT, tells an interesting story. In FY 2022, they had a PT of 140.17 lakhs. Things were looking even better in FY 2023, with a PT of 239.14 lakhs. But then in FY 2024, the PT dipped to 146.89 lakhs.
Hold on, so revenue is up, but profit is down.
Yeah.
That seems like a red flag, doesn't it?
It's definitely something that needs further investigation. Remember, all those growth plans Toss the Coin has. Developing that new marketing strategy platform, the MSP, and opening new offices in Coimbatore, Bangalore, and Mumbai. Those initiatives require significant upfront investments, which could be impacting their short-term profitability.
So they're spending big to grow bigger. It's a gamble, but it could pay off if they can capture more market share.
Exactly. It's a classic trade-off between immediate profits and long-term growth. But it's not the only risk factor investors need to consider. One of the biggest concerns outlined in their prospectus is their dependence on a few key clients.
Oh, that makes sense. In the tech world, losing a big client could really hurt. What kind of impact are we talking about here?
If they were to lose even a couple of their major clients, their revenue and profitability could take a significant hit. It highlights the importance of diversifying their client base and building strong relationships with a wider range of tech companies.
Spreading the risk, so to speak. So besides client dependence, what other challenges might they be facing?
The marketing landscape is constantly evolving, especially in the tech industry. New technologies and platforms pop up all the time, and Toss the Coin needs to stay ahead of the curve to remain competitive.
They can't afford to fall behind in this fast-paced world.
Exactly. They'll need to constantly adapt and innovate to keep attracting new clients and meeting their evolving needs.
They did mention something about developing an AI platform, right? What was that all about?
Yes, they're calling it KTAs.ai, and it's designed to help clients analyze data and extract meaningful stories from it. It's still in the pilot phase, but it shows they're thinking about the future and embracing new technologies.
That's definitely a plus. It shows they're not just sitting back and watching the world change around them. They're trying to be proactive.
Right. But the reliance on emerging technologies like AI also carries its own set of risks. Will K-State AI truly deliver on its promises? Will clients be willing to adopt it? These are questions that investors need to consider.
It's like a high-stakes bet on the future of marketing. Okay, so we've got revenue growth, potential profit concerns, client dependence, and this big bet on AI. What else do we need to unpack before we move on?
Let's talk about their funding strategy. Why are they pursuing this IPO in the first place? What are they going to do with the money they raise?
Good point. They've got to have a plan for all that capital. What are their key objectives here?
Well, a big chunk of the funds will be allocated to developing that MSP platform we talked about earlier. They've estimated the cost at a whopping 294.73 lakhs, and they've partnered with Advanced eSolutions Pete Ltd. to make it happen.
That's a serious investment. They must really believe in the potential of this platform to give them a competitive advantage.
It seems that way. Another portion of the funds is earmarked for their expansion plans. Remember those new offices they're opening in Coimbatore, Bangalore, and Mumbai? That's going to cost them an estimated 120.0 lakhs.
So they're betting on geographic expansion to fuel their growth. But what about just keeping the lights on and the business running smoothly?
They've allocated 200.00 lakhs for working capital, which covers day-to-day operations, managing inventory, and handling unexpected expenses.
It's like a financial cushion to help them weather any storms. So big investments in technology expansion and keeping the gears turning. Anything else?
There are, of course, general corporate expenses and the costs associated with the IPO itself, but the exact amounts for those are redacted in the prospectus. It's like a little financial mystery.
Well, maybe we can solve that mystery later. But for now, let's shift gears and take a closer look at the people behind the numbers. Who's steering this ship?
Toss the Coin is led by a team of seasoned professionals. The managing director is Mr. Narayan Jayan, who brings a wealth of experience with his 26 years in the marketing industry.
Wow, 26 years. He's seen it all. What about the rest of the leadership team?
The whole-time director and CFO is Mrs. Reshma Budia, who boasts an impressive 21 years of experience. And rounding out the trio is Mr. Suhanshu Budia, a non-executive director with 25 years under his belt.
That's a lot of combined experience at the helm. It definitely gives them some credibility, especially in a fast-paced industry like tech marketing.
Absolutely. But experience alone doesn't guarantee success. We need to take a closer look at their financials, especially those revenue trends and the dip in profit after tax.
Agreed. Let's dig deeper into those numbers and see what kind of story they're telling us.
Welcome back. Now it's time to really, roll up our sleeves and really dig into Toss the Coin's financials. Remember those detailed financial statements you sent over? They're like a financial X-ray, giving us a glimpse into the inner workings of their business.
Let's get that magnifying glass out. We're on the case. We already talked about their revenue growth, which looks pretty good on the surface, but that dip in profit after tax in FY 2024 has me wondering what's going on there.
Let's break it down. In FY 2022, the profit after tax, or PAT, was a healthy euro 140.17 lakhs. Things were even better the following year, with their PAT climbing to 239.14 lakhs. But then in FY 2024, their PT dropped to 146.89 lakhs, even though their revenue continued to grow.
So their earnings aren't keeping pace with their revenue. What could be contributing to that?
Remember those growth initiatives we discussed, the development of their new marketing strategy platform, MSP, and the expansion into new office spaces. Those are major investments that could be impacting their bottom line in the short term.
It's like they're planting seeds for future growth, but those seeds need time and resources to sprout.
Exactly. It's a common strategy for young companies looking to scale up quickly, but it does come with risks. Investors need to assess whether these investments will pay off in the long run.
We need to see if those seeds are going to blossom into profits down the line.
Precisely. Now let's zoom in on their different service offerings. The prospectus gives us a breakdown of how much revenue each segment generates. It's like seeing the individual ingredients that make up their financial cake.
Okay, so what's their secret recipe for success? What's bringing in the big bucks?
Their bread and butter seems to be their CMO office services, which brought in a whopping 330.79 lakhs in FY 2024. That's a massive jump from the 72.54 lakhs they generated back in FY 2022.
Wow, that's impressive growth. What exactly does their CMO office DO? Break it down for us.
Think of it as outsourcing your entire marketing department to a team of specialists. They handle everything from strategy and planning to content creation and campaign execution, It's a one-stop shop for tech companies that want to level up their marketing game.
It makes sense that this would be their most successful segment. Tech companies are always looking for an edge, and marketing is crucial in such a competitive landscape.
Absolutely. Their GTM office services are also doing well, generating 91.61 lakhs in FY 2024. This focuses on helping companies launch new products and services successfully. It's all about reaching the right audience at the right time with the right message.
So it's like a launchpad for new products and services, making sure they hit the ground running.
You got it. Their sales enablement and design outcome services are smaller pieces of the pie, but they still play a crucial role in rounding out their offerings.
It's like they're creating a full marketing ecosystem for tech companies, from strategy to execution. They've got it covered. But with all this talk of growth and revenue, let's not forget about those potential red flags. Anything in their financials that's giving you pause.
One area that warrants a closer look is their trade receivables. This basically represents the money they're owed by their clients for services already provided.
So like outstanding invoices, money that's supposed to be coming in but hasn't yet?
Exactly. If those trade receivables start piling up, it could signal trouble. It might mean they're having difficulty collecting payments, which can put a strain on their cash flow.
It's like a waiting game. Will they get paid on time or will they be left holding the bag?
Let's see what their numbers tell us. Their trade receivables have been steadily increasing, going from 45.91 lakhs in FY 2022 to 112.34 lakhs in FY 2024. That's a significant jump, and it raises some questions.
Like, are their clients struggling financially? Are they slow to pay their bills? Or is Toss the Coin just not managing their collections effectively?
These are all valid questions, and we need more information to draw any firm conclusions. It's a reminder that rapid growth can sometimes mask underlying financial challenges.
It's like a speedboat racing ahead, but you need to make sure there are no leaks in the hull.
A great analogy. Another thing to keep in mind is that Toss the Coin is still a relatively young company. They haven't been around for decades, so their track record is limited. It makes it harder to predict their future performance with absolute certainty.
So there's a bit of a crystal ball element here. We can analyze the past, but the future is still a bit hazy.
Exactly. It's important for investors to understand that investing in a young company always carries a higher level of risk. But with risk comes the potential for greater rewards.
High risk, high reward. That's the name of the game in the world of startups.
Absolutely. But even with the inherent risks, there are some positive signs in Toss the Coin's financials. For example, they've maintained a healthy cash balance, ending FY 2024 with 323.14 lakhs in cash and bank balances.
So they've got a decent safety net to fall back on, which is always a good thing. It shows they're not just burning through cash recklessly.
Precisely. It's a sign of responsible financial management, which can give investors a bit more peace of mind.
It's like having a rainy day fund for their business.
Exactly. Now let's zoom out a bit and take a look at the broader industry landscape. Those industry reports you sent over provide some valuable context for understanding Toss the Coin's position in the market.
Okay, let's set the stage for Toss the Coin. What's the overall outlook for the content marketing industry?
The reports confirm what we've already observed. The content marketing industry is booming. It's driven by the insatiable demand for high-quality content in today's digital-first world.
It's amazing how much content shapes our online experiences, from the articles we read to the videos we watch. It's everywhere.
It's become an essential part of how businesses connect with their audiences. And this trend is only going to accelerate. The reports highlight several factors driving this growth, including the rise of social media, the increasing use of mobile devices, and the growing importance of personalized marketing.
So it's a perfect storm of technology, consumer behavior, and marketing strategies converging to create this content-hungry world.
Exactly. And within this dynamic landscape, Toss the Coin is positioning itself as a specialist in the tech industry. Their bet is that their deep understanding of this sector, combined with their agility and innovative approach, will give them a competitive edge.
It's a smart strategy focusing on a niche where they can really excel, but they're not alone in this space. What's the competitive landscape looking like?
The reports paint a picture of fierce competition. There are established players with deep pockets and a global reach, as well as a constant influx of new, nimble agencies vying for market share. It's a crowded playing field, and Toss the Coin needs to find a way to stand out from the crowd.
Just like a marketing jungle out there with everyone fighting for survival.
That's a great way to put it. Toss the Coin is highlighting their personalized service, their ability to adapt quickly to changing client needs, and their embrace of emerging technologies like AI as key differentiators.
They're trying to be the chameleons of the marketing world, blending in with the tech landscape while also offering something unique.
Precisely. But even with their niche focus and innovative approach, there are still challenges they need to overcome. The reports emphasize the increasing complexity of the digital landscape, with new platforms and technologies emerging all the time.
It's like trying to navigate a maze that's constantly shifting and changing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Toss the Coin needs to stay agile and adapt quickly to these changes if they want to keep reaching their target audience effectively. And let's not forget about data privacy. With regulations constantly evolving, Toss a Coin needs to navigate this tricky terrain carefully, especially given their focus on data-driven marketing in the tech industry.
It's a tightrope walk between pushing the boundaries of innovation and staying on the right side of the law.
Well said. And then there's the challenge of talent. The content marketing industry is hungry for skilled professionals, and Toss the Coin needs to attract and retain top talent if they want to stay competitive.
It's a battle for the best, brightest minds in the marketing world.
Absolutely. And lastly, the reports stress the importance of demonstrating the return on investment for content marketing campaigns. Clients want to see tangible results. They want to know that their marketing dollars are actually driving business outcomes.
It's not enough to just create great content. You need to prove that it's actually moving the needle.
Exactly. So we've got a booming industry full of opportunities, but also a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
Toss the Coin is playing in a competitive field, and they need to prove they can navigate this landscape successfully.
So after taking a deep dive into their financials and the industry as a whole, what's your overall impression? Is Toss the Coin a company you'd be willing to get on?
Honestly, it's a mixed bag. There are a lot of things to like about Toss the Coin. Their strong revenue growth, their focus on the tech industry, their embrace of innovation, and their healthy cash balance.
But there's always a but, right?
Right. There are also some concerns. The dip in profit after tax, the increasing trade receivables, and the inherent risks of investing in a young company operating in a highly competitive industry. It's a classic high-risk, high-reward scenario.
So is it a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
It really depends on your individual risk tolerance and investment goals. If you're looking for a safe and steady investment, this might not be the right fit. But if you're willing to take on a bit more risk for the potential of higher returns, Toss the Coin might be worth considering.
It's like flipping a coin heads. You win tails, you lose. But even with a coin toss, there's a bit of strategy involved, right? You need to know the odds to assess the risks and make an informed decision.
Exactly. And speaking of informed decisions, there are a few key factors investors should keep in mind as they weigh their options. Let's delve into those considerations after a quick break.
All right, we're back and it's decision time. We've explored Toss the Coin's business model, financials, and even the competitive landscape of the content marketing world. Now we need to help you decide if this IPO is the right investment for you.
Think of it as putting together the pieces of a puzzle. We've examined the individual components, and now it's time to see if they fit together to form a complete picture.
Let's start with the most important piece, their financial performance. We've seen that impressive revenue growth, but that dip in profit after tax in FY 2024 is still a bit of a head-scratcher.
It's like a detective novel. We need to figure out if that dip in profit is a temporary setback or a sign of deeper financial troubles. Are they just experiencing growing pains, or are there cracks in their business model?
So how do we solve this financial mystery? What should investors be looking for?
First, we need to consider the nature of their investments. They're pouring a lot of money into that new marketing strategy platform, MSP, and expanding their operations with new offices. These are big bets that could pay off handsomely down the line, but might take a while to show up on the bottom line.
It's like planting a tree. You don't get fruit right away. You need to nurture it, give it time to grow, and then hopefully reap the rewards later.
Exactly. Investors need to assess if those investments are likely to bear fruit. Will the MSP platform truly give them a competitive advantage? Will those new offices generate enough business to justify the cost?
It's a gamble, but it's one that Toss the Coin seems confident about.
Another crucial factor to consider is the growth potential of the content marketing industry. We know it's booming, but is that growth sustainable? Can Toss the Coin carve out a sizable piece of that pie?
They're betting on their specialization in the tech industry to give them an edge. But as we've discussed, the tech world is constantly evolving. Can they keep up?
That's a key question. Can they adapt to new technologies and platforms? Can they attract and retain the talent they need to stay ahead of the curve?
It's a race against time in a fast-paced industry. And speaking of leadership, what about the team behind Toss the Coin? Are they the right people to navigate this challenging landscape?
They definitely have the experience,
Yeah.
but experience alone isn't enough. Investors need to assess their track record, their vision for the future, and their ability to execute their plans effectively.
It's about more than just years on the job. It's about leadership, strategic thinking, and adaptability.
Absolutely. And let's not forget about the elephant in the room, risk. Every investment carries a certain level of risk, and IPOs are no exception. Toss the Coin has outlined several risk factors in their prospectus, and it's crucial that investors carefully consider these before making any decisions.
It's like a roller coaster. There are thrills and excitement. There's also the potential for a few bumps along the way.
Investors need to assess their own risk tolerance. Are they comfortable with the level of uncertainty associated with investing in a young, rapidly growing company?
It's all about finding the right balance between risk and potential reward. So we've got the financials, the industry outlook, the management team, and the inherent risks. What else do we need to factor into our decision-making process?
The prospectus includes some key financial metrics that can help investors evaluate the company's valuation and profitability. These metrics, calculated based on the final issue price, include the price-to-earnings ratio, or PE ratio, and the return on net worth, or RNW.
Let's break those down. What can these ratios tell us about Toss the Coin?
The PE ratio gives us a sense of how much investors are willing to pay for each rupee of earnings. A high PE ratio could suggest that investors are optimistic about the company's future growth prospects, but it could also be a sign that the company is overvalued.
So it's a balancing act between expectations and reality.
Exactly. The RNW, on the other hand, measures how efficiently the company is using its equity to generate profits. A higher RNW indicates that the company is making good use of its shareholders' money, generating strong returns on their investment.
So it's a measure of how effectively they're turning investments into profits.
Precisely. These ratios provide a snapshot of Toss the Coin's financial health. But it's important to remember that they're just one piece of the puzzle. Investors should also consider qualitative factors like the company's vision, their competitive strategy, and their ability to execute their plans.
It's like judging a book by its cover. You might get a general idea, but you need to read the whole story to truly understand it.
Absolutely. The prospectus is a wealth of information, and we encourage you to dive deep into it, analyze the data, and form your own conclusions.
It's like being a financial detective, piecing together clues to solve the case of whether or not to invest in Toss the Coin.
Exactly. And to help you along in your investigation, we want to leave you with a final thought-provoking question to ponder. Given Toss the Coin's focus on the tech industry, how might emerging technologies like AI and Web3 impact their future growth? Will they be able to harness these advancements to their advantage, or will they be disrupted by them?
It's a question that every tech-focused company is grappling with. Can they ride the wave of innovation, or will they be swept away by it?
Only time will tell. But one thing's for certain, the world of technology is constantly changing, and companies need to be adaptable to survive.
It's a reminder that the future is uncertain, and there are no guarantees in the world of investing. But that's also what makes it so exciting.
Absolutely. And with that, we conclude our deep dive into Toss the Coin IPO. We've explored their business, their financials, the industry landscape, and the key considerations for investors. Now it's your turn to decide, is Toss the Coin a gamble you're willing to take?
We've equipped you with the knowledge and insights you need to make an informed decision. The rest is up to you. Happy investing.
And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.